I don't want to hear any more of these lies about reckless spending. We're changing people's lives.
After Joe Biden's 2 years at the top, some 70% of the population thinks the country is headed in the wrong direction.
Should he run again? I think that I think we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
In the meantime, voters are engaging in what can only be described as payback to the national leaders who ran their lives during the pandemic. In France, Emmanuel Macron's centrist party lost its legislative majority with gains for protest vote parties on the left and right. In Colombia, the far left actually achieved power with the election of a former M19 guerrilla. While in the UK, despite surviving a no-confidence vote, many wish Prime Minister Boris Johnson would just go away as the country suffers a sit-down strike by the railway unions.
I just think it's lie after lie, after lie, after lie, after cover-up, after change the rules.
Amid this turmoil, highlighted by a 70,000-strong cost of living march in Brussels, a well-known phrase has returned to usage.
It's the economy, stupid.
Normally, commentary on that phrase puts emphasis on the economy, but with so many governments faltering in the pandemic's wake, let's elevate stupid and couple it with one more word, lockdown. Not least because the man who gave us never-ending quarantines would rather we didn't.
Well, I don't want to use the word lockdowns. That has a charged element to it.
What's impossible not to notice is the lockdown's effect on the vast, intricate machinery in the world's market economy. Before the pandemic, no one outside the distribution business ever thought about supply chains. All those goods manufactured, bought, packed, and shipped were as reliably available as turning on a light. But disrupt the complex, always-on power grid, as happened in Texas and California, and the power stops showing up.
Instead of fixing problems, they let it fester, and then they let it turn into a crisis. And then they use that crisis as an opportunity to implement their socialist-styled solutions.
This persistent post-pandemic disruption is the result of government choices. In 2020, the public sector told the private sector to simply stand down. When the pandemic lockdowns were extended indefinitely into 2021, the global economy's extraordinarily complex grid of relationships fractured at every level. Layoffs were widespread, and too many industries remained damaged.
You know, the Wall Street Journal reported this morning that 44% of economists expect a recession in the next year. Is that what you expect as well?
Well, I expect the economy to slow. It's been growing at a very rapid rate as the labor market is recovered and we have reached full employment.
We have arrived at stupid.
Stupid?
For decades, governments and the private economy have coexisted uneasily. But over that time, left-of-center politicians lost any real understanding of how that complex private economy actually worked.
There's nothing inevitable about a recession.
All they needed to know was that the private sector, like a light bulb coming on, would automatically send them tax revenue.
It's not about a price tag or anything. It's about values, not dollars.
To address the mess they'd created with lockdowns, Biden Democrats then pumped several $1 trillion into an economy unable to absorb it efficiently. Today, they're considering a gas tax holiday.
They were really focused on demand destruction. And a proposal like this of cutting the federal gas tax would actually be an exercise in demand construction.
15 years ago, even Mr. Biden's former boss sneered at such an approach.
We're arguing over a gimmick to save you half a tank of gas over the course of the entire summer so that everyone in Washington can pat themselves on the back.
In their desperation to retain power, politicians today are driving exasperated voters to extremes. So whether it's France, Colombia, or the UK, midterm Republicans should take note. For them, this November is about just 5 words. We will do the opposite.